Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to me again. I am Anis Rumah Hidayati. Here I would like to share knowledge, to share information about the parametric and special about the using SPSS in correlation study and t-test. Okay, and before my friends or my partner have been explained about the step in using SPS in correlation study, and now I will explain about t-test and using SPSS to t-test. So this is the last material. Okay, check it out. There is a t-test. What the meaning of the t-test and why the t-test used, and so many more take here. Okay, and the number one is the meaning of t-test. Okay, using a t-test. This is using a t-test. A test can only be used when comparing the mean of two groups. If you want to compare more than two groups, or you want to do multiple pares comparison, use an ANOVA test or post-hoc test. Okay, and this is there are three. The t-test assume your data. The t-test is parametric test of difference, meaning that it makes the same assumption about your data as other parametric. The number one is are independent. Number two is are approximately or normally distributed, and the last is have a similar amount of variance within each group being compared. Next, and there are many types of t-tests, and then this is there are three types. And number one is one sample, two sample, or pirate t-test. And there are three this type. This is has the special to accountant and special to test the every type of t-test. Example, one sample, two sample, or pirate sample. If the group come from a single population, so format a pirate test. If the group come from two different population, perform a two sample t-test. If there is the one group being compared against a standard value, so perform a one sample t-test. Okay. And the next is the t-test formula. So t-test has the formula. The formula t-test is this is formula about t-test. T x1 x2 and spur this. This is the formula from t-test. You can check it out. And x min is mean of sample 1. X2 a mean of sample 2, and N1 number of subject in sample 1, and N2 number of subject in sample 2, and so more. This is completely about the formula of t-test. Okay, next. T-test function in statistical software. Most statistical software or SPS include a test function. This built-in function will take your raw data and calculate the t-value. It will then compare it to critical value and calculate a p-value. That way you can quickly see whether your groups are statistically different. So after this, I will explain about using SPS to analyze data with t-test. Okay? Next, the t-test function, interpreting in t-test. This is interpreting in t-test. You can check it out here. Okay, and the next is when to use a t-test. When we use t-test, a t-test can only be used when comparing the means of groups. Pairs comparison, if you want to compare more than two groups, or if you want to do multiple pairs comparison, use an ANOVA test or a post-hoc test. So the test is parametric test of difference, meaning that it makes the same assumption about your data other parametric test. The test assume your data is there are three. The number one is are independent. Number two is are approximately normally distributed, and number 3 is have a similar amount of variance within each group being compared. Yes, this is most important. And then this is the type of t-test should I use. So there are so many. The number 1 is one sample, two sample, or pirate t-test. And before I have been explaining about this, and then performing t-test. And performing t-test is the number 1 is t-test formula. This is the formula, right? And you can check it. And the next is t-test function in statistical software. So there are two. It is manual with the formula, and this is with the software. The software is the familiar with SPSS. After this, I will explain about this. Okay, most statistical software or SPS include a test function. This built-in function will take your raw data and calculate the value. Okay, and the next is presenting the result of a t-test. When reporting your t-test result, the most important value to include are the t-value, the p-value, and the degree of freedom for t-test. This will communicate to your audience whether the difference between the two groups is statistically significant. You can also include the summary statistic in for group being compared, right? Okay, and this is the viewing, or this is the show about the test, the floor data and study, the difference in pendulum between. Okay, you can check it. You can check it in this. Okay, after this, I will explain about the using SPSS in analyzing data with t-test. Check it out. Okay, before I have been explaining about the meaning of t-test, about the using a t-test, and then the type of the t-test. So here now I would like to explain about the using SPSS in the t-test. Okay, using SPSS for t-test. So this is different about before material. So this is research practice. Okay, I'm sorry, maybe I didn't have tutorial in the video, but in this is there are explaining about maybe yes in a method from number 1 until the end. Okay, number 1 is this tutorial will be show you how use SPS version 12.0 to perform one simple test, independent samples t-test, and pirate sample t-test. Okay, next, the number 1 you should download the standard class dataset. Click on the link and save the that file in say Google or in the website, as there are many the link of to download the SPSS in the Windows. The next is start SPSS. Click on start, and then next the program. The next is SPSS for Windows and special to SPSS 12.0 for Windows. Okay, next, this is there are 3 tutorial about how to using SPSS to t-test, especially when sample t-test, independent test, and then pirate test. It is so long. Okay, check it out. Number 1 is when sample t-test. When sample t-test can be used to determine if the mean of a sample is different from a particular value. Okay, this is the tutorial to using SPSS for t-test. Rate the null and alternative hypothesis first. It is you can see. Okay, and the next is number 2. Determine if this is one of tile or two tile test, because the hypothesis involves the price greater than must be on tile test. Next, number 3. Specify the level. Determine the appropriate status. Next, in the number 5. Calculate the t-value or let SPS do it for you. The command for example t-test is found in analysis compare means on example t-test. Next, okay, this is the picture. If you want to, this is the general of menu in the t-test in the t-test, especially in window, and this is one sample t-test, right? You must remember one sample t-test. Okay, next this is compare means, and the next is t-test dialog box will number of order. Okay, the next is number of order. You can check it and you can practice directly this now. Click in the test value box, okay, a value box, and enter the value that you will compare to. In this example, we are comparing if number order siblings is greater than 1, so we should enter 1 into the test value box. This is test value box is number 1. Okay, and the next is click on OK. Click OK. If you OK, the output viewer will appear. There are two parts to output. The first part give descriptive. Okay, next. So you can check it. This is like this. Okay, this is like this, and then the output tell us that we have 46 observation. It is the end main. Is you can check it. Okay, after this, the second part of the output give the value of the statistical test. This is one sample test. This is the show of the picture. After you can check it or you can practice in the SPSS. Okay, next, number 6, determine if we can reject the null hypothesis or not. The decision rule is if the one-tailed critical value is less than the observed and the means are in the right order. Okay, the last is about the one sample, and the next is independent sample t-test single value groups. Independent samples t-test single value groups. When two samples are involved, the samples can come from different individuals who are not matched. The samples are independent of each other, or the sample can come from the same individuals. The same are paired, and the samples are not independent on each other. Okay, next, then we will follow customary step. There is some step also. It is number 1 is read the null and alternative hypothesis first. You can check it. Okay, the next number 2 is determine if this is one of tile or two tile test, and the next specify the alpha level. The alpha level is 0.05, and the next number 4, determine the appropriate statistical test. The variable of interest order is 1 or ratio scale. You can check it, right? And the last is number 5. Number 5 is calculate the t-value, or let SPS do it for you. You can check it. This is the picture analysis comparisons. Next, before you choose one sample t-test, but in this you can choose independent sample t-test. Next, okay, number of order. After number of order, and please click on the independent variables. Next, so you can grouping variable. You click grouping variable and please section. Yes, click on the define group button. The define group dialog box appear, and the next is this is, and the group 1 text box type in the value determine the first group. This is, you can check it and you can look your data, your data, and you can fill the data as in this defined group. There is 10, group 1 is 10, group 2 is 11. And the next, after click on the continue button to close the define group dialog box, click that OK. After this is first the descriptive statistic. It is, check it out in this picture. And the next, okay, and the next is number 6, decide if we can reject, as before the decision rule is given. This if blah 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 blah, it is nearest one, the reject, you can check it. Okay, after this you can get this independent sample test. Okay, this is independent sample test. Okay, the next is The last is parasimilar test. Okay, the parasimilar test is when two samples are involved and the value for each sample are collected from the same individuals, or the sample come from a pair of individuals, then parasimilar test may be an appropriate statistic to use. Okay, this is the tutorial, is the method. Number 1 is write the null and alternative hypothesis, but this is different formula, right? Different formula with one sample and independent test. The next, determine if this specific level, and number 4 is determine the appropriate statistics test, and number 5 is let SPS calculate the value of T for you. It is same, compare mean, parasimilar test, and the next is you can check it box older younger. Okay, you can choose older younger, and then please click OK, and this is the picture if you after OK. Okay, and then this is the result, right? The third is part of output give the inferential statistic. Okay, the column label if give the observation, and the last, the ZV of reject as before the Z rule is given. This is step is same with the null. It one sample and then independent test. So it's the Razik method, but it is different when you can click pirate or independent test or in the one sample test. Okay, thank you. This is tutorial to know how to using SPSS for t-test especially. So I'm sorry if we have many mistakes, especially this our group. I hope this tutorial can always useful in your life. Thank you very much. The last for us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.